You remember SOPA and PIPA? Yeah, if you're new to the internet, you might not remember it too much, but it was a pretty big deal a few years back. The U.S. government was trying to pass new copyright laws that was going to absolutely stifle free expression on the internet and really screw with people that were trying to make stuff like YouTube videos and do Twitch streaming and anything else on social media. It was going to be really bad. Thankfully, the internet came together and stopped it. Last year, the European Union had this whole Article 13 crap, which was going to stifle free expression in the EU and kill memes forever. Unfortunately, it did pass. And this year, after what is probably one of the worst years in modern history, we have Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina. Yeah, this asshat has decided that it is his responsibility to sneak in a special bill inside of a must-pass spending bill. Yeah, he knows that what he wants to do is so unpopular that he has to kind of tack it onto someone else's legislation and just hope no one notices it. Well, guess what, Thom? We noticed it. And what kind of a name is Thom? Apologies to any of our viewers whose name are Thom. You are awesome. Thom Tillis sucks, and I'll tell you why. He wants to make anybody using copyrighted material into a felon. Now, what happens to felons, all right? Like, everyone who breaks the law has to face some sort of consequences. Felons, those consequences never go away. See, a felon can go to jail and come out of jail, and they're still being treated as a criminal, even though they serve their time. Felons lose a lot of their human rights. Felons cannot vote. They cannot own a firearm. There are a lot of countries that won't allow them to travel there. Landlords have the right to discriminate against you and deny you housing, and employers have the right to discriminate against felons and not hire them.
Baskin-Robbins always finds out.
Felonies are usually really severe crimes. We're talking murder, burglary, kidnapping, arson, and apparently streaming or the use of copyrighted material on your YouTube videos or Twitch streams. So does Senator Thom Tillis think, because I used that Baskin-Robbins clip a little bit ago, that I should go to jail and not be allowed to vote because, you know, it's akin to murder? If Toei comes after us for the next Dragon Ball video we do, or if Viz Media comes after us for a Naruto video, like they've done in the past, should it be treated as kidnapping? Nah, because that's dumb. Like Senator Thom Tillis is dumb. I'm really getting sick of the government trying to give more power to companies to hurt and stifle people online. And look, I'm not saying that copyright should be ignored. If someone is uploading songs or movies or TV episodes to YouTube, that's wrong. Such uploads should be removed, and if the uploader keeps doing that and persists and is a repeat offender, then maybe taking the uploader to court is a reasonable option. But you know me. I'm not here to defend pirates. I'm here to talk about online content creators, people that are doing things that they should be legally allowed to do. We're talking about content creators that entertain millions on YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. And yes, a lot of them are using copyrighted material, but they're using said material in completely fair and legal ways. Unfortunately, fair and legal ways doesn't mean protected ways. Despite the fact that our videos here are entirely transformative and often educational, we still have to contend with copyright holders like Viz Media and Toei and others trying to block us or make money off of us or censor us, yada yada yada. But instead of presenting legislation to protect content creators like us, legislators like Tillis are trying to turn us into felons. Because, you know, I should actually be refused the ability to work at certain jobs because of my YouTube channel. Okay, maybe Tillis is only trying to go after the bad actors, the pirates that are actually uploading full-length movies and, you know, putting up music to download, you know, whatever. Well, then why isn't legislation worded that way? Think about it. We have this whole platform with so much going on, okay? If you want to go after the bad actors, you need to be specific. But your legislation is vague, and the consequences are severe and lifelong. So of course we have to say no. Of course we have to fight back against this bullcrap. Maybe you could pair this felony streaming proposal with a very clear Bill of Rights for online content creators to show that we don't have anything to worry about. Give us an edge when dealing with false or unfair copyright claims. That would be great. It'd be amazing to hear something like this on the congressional floor. Because the internet has become an integral part in how we communicate, and the last 15 years have given rise to a new industry of online content creators, it has become necessary to more clearly outline what shall be considered fair use. And then just list off and describe what counts as fair use. Video game playthroughs accompanied by commentary? Check. Movie clips used in reviews? Check. Copyrighted content used in videos that discuss, analyze, theorize, or just appreciate the content? Check. Anime clips and content that seeks to help the viewer train like their favorite anime characters? Well, that might seem kind of specific and a little self-serving. Check. Now look, if you want to go ahead and put some sort of rules in your legislation that talk about putting, credits in your video or your stream, and maybe including some sort of link to the original creators, or what qualifies as fair use for background music and what doesn't, that's acceptable. I get it. We need to have some sort of rules and regulations to keep things in check.
I do not own anything inside this house. No burglary is intended.
What?
Stop! Wait, everything I'm holding is owned by that guy.
Yeah.
I did not buy this. All credit goes to guy on couch.
Make sure that no one's abusing it and just straight up being an online pirate. But here's the problem. There's no rules like that as of right now, which is why it's like a Wild West out here. And surprisingly, and also unfortunately, I've seen plenty of people online defending this idea that content creators are criminals that are just getting away with some sort of IP theft or something. And it's a shame that anyone thinks this way, because copyright law has been abused to hell and back by big companies for decades, to the point that people now seem to believe that this is actually the way things should work. It's not, let me tell you. The first ever copyright law in the United States granted creators a 14-year exclusivity right to their works, meaning that characters like Superman, who was first created in 1938, would have become public domain in 1952. But that's not how things went. 41 years after that first piece of copyright legislation went into effect, the period of copyright was extended to 28 years to match up with what was happening in Europe, which I understand you need to stay competitive to a certain degree to make sure that you're giving your country's, authors and artists and whatnot the same kind of protections that are happening across the world. I mean, it makes sense. But here's the thing. Staying competitive is one thing. Passing legislation that makes content creators like myself feel the need to disguise ourselves so that the feds don't find us, yeah, that's messed up. Goodbye, beard. Thing is, in 1834, a copyright case resulted in confirmation that copyright was only meant to provide authors and creators copyright protections for a limited time, not a perpetual amount of time. And a lot has happened since then, but now, copyright lasts for 70 years after the creator is dead. That means the clock doesn't even start ticking until the original creator dies. This means that copyright, a special protection for creators that was only supposed to offer them exclusivity to their creations for a limited amount of time, now lasts long after they've died. Kind of messed up, don't you think? Had things stayed the same, that would mean in 2021 you'd be able to claim anything made in the year 2007 and earlier as public domain property. Every single Dragon Ball Z related video on the internet, including most of our Dragon Ball training and analysis videos, Jack's Play's recent Goku training video, most of what Geekdom talks about, and the entirety of Dragon Ball Z Abridged would not only be undeniably fair use, but absolutely in the public domain, meaning Toei wouldn't have a leg to stand on when trying to block, censor, or take ad money from, because that's how public domain works. If the 14-year limit on copyright was how everything worked, all of Dragon Ball and DBZ would be fair game. Dragon Ball Super wouldn't, but, there's always GT. And Evolution. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't actually know how copyright works between countries, but I do know that copyright law has been exploited and abused to make big companies richer in ways that only serve to hurt people like me and Steven and others. So if you're in the U.S., contact your senators and representative. I actually keep all 3 of my congressmen in my phone contacts list just for these kind of events, because they happen way too often for me to not have their numbers on speed dial. Tell them that not only do you want them to stand against Thom Tillis' felony streaming proposal, but that you want them to consider both some sort of internet content creators' bill of rights that would make transformative, fair use of copyrighted material protected even more, and you want them to consider reforming copyright to not last so damn long. I mean, the life of the creator plus 70 years, that's not protecting an artist, okay? That's making sure the companies that own the rights get to make bank off of it long after the guy that made it is dead. It's not enough to just push back against harmful legislation anymore, guys. We need to be pushing for legislation that's going to protect us and the content creator community and culture that we've been building for over a decade. With that said, I'm Joanne, I have no relation to this channel, and I'm going to be in hiding until this all blows over.